start lying on our backs today. Close your eyes and lie down in your most conscious way. So you lie down on your mat and you shift around. And gently circle your pelvis, shift your hips so that your pelvis and your tailbone is really grounded and deeply supported. So your nervous system receives the message that it can release, and it does so when the lower back and the pelvis can really rest. So, you know that saying, I have your back, have that in mind. So, and then the shoulder blades are slightly tucked under, but spacious. So, not squeezing them together, and your collarbones are wide and soft, your hands alongside your feet, your hips. And close your eyes and soften your eyelids. Bring your gaze, your inner gaze up towards the space between your eyebrows. And see if you can picture a little light there, as if you had a little sun between the eyebrows. And then let that radiate warmth and light outwards. So all the way up into the crown of your head and back into the back of your skull. Down your face, your cheeks, your lips. Allow everything to soften. Check in, move towards the space where spine meets skull. And then just checking in with maybe tiny little micro movements. Am I resting head into earth, or am I maybe still holding on? So checking that, and then do the same with the shoulders. Am I only believing that I'm resting on the mat, or can I really surrender into this moment, into gravity? And then from here, finding stillness in your body and letting that stillness inspire your mind. Set an intention of meeting yourself and each moment of this practice, and afterwards each moment of your day and maybe life. We might forget, life is a long time, but we're here to remind one another. So set the intention of encountering each moment with a deep sense of curiosity. Imagine this body you are resting onto the mat is new to you. Imagine this is the first time you are experiencing the world through this body. Cultivate that sort of curiosity. Very kind and loving curiosity. And then notice what it is beyond curiosity that you need today, that you need to focus on during your practice. And just being curious might be enough. Maybe you feel like working up a bit of core heat, or whatever it is that is true for you this moment, let it speak. And then shift your attention to breath and watch your breath. Watch it flow in and out of your nostrils. Watch how breath is this exchange of space, the outer space, the inner space. To me, the breath symbolizes, is a reminder that there is no separation between the outside world and the inside world. There is no I, my problems, my thoughts, my feelings, and then the world out there. Breath reminds me that it's all interwoven. It's all like fabric woven into one another. What we see in the world out there usually is a reflection of something we might be able to see, or that is unseen within ourselves. Let the breath remind you the interconnectedness of everything. And then from here, gently deepen your breath. But not in a forced or straining way, but just conscious, deep inhalations and exhalations. And then this breath will move your body, and let your body move with that breath. Moving hips and shoulders, maybe rounding your lower back into mat. And eventually rolling your wrists and rolling your ankles. Move your fingers. Roll your toes. Soften your shoulders, roll your shoulders, reach your arms up and over. Stretch your hands, stretch your fingers, stretch your toes. Reach and lengthen for a moment. And then as you exhale, you bring your chin to chest, your knees to chest, and hug your arms around your knees. While you're here with your chest lifted, let your lower back soften into earth. Let the spaces between your shoulder, your vertebra open up wide. And then we'll stretch out again, reach arms up and over, legs away, stretch and reach. Inhale here deeply, and then as you exhale, your knees come in, your arms wrap around your knees. Keep your knees where they're at, just bring your chest down. Reach your arms out to the sides. Tuck your shoulder blades under, feel your chest, your ribs, your front shoulders open. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you bring your knees over to the right. Let them stack, let them drop into earth. You might need to start gazing right to let your body soften, but then slowly turn left, turn your gaze left, shift a bit of weight into left shoulder, into left chest. Create a long line from outer left knee to left fingertips. Every inhale allows you to reach a little deeper. Every exhale you surrender into whatever comes up for you. Really nurturing, nourishing yourself through your practice today. Inhale here, exhale, knees to center. Hug your arms around your knees. Chin to chest, forehead to knees. Make yourself small and round. Lift your chest. Soften your lower back. Another inhale here to lift a little more. Exhale. Chest comes down, arms come down, and then bring your knees over to the left. And again, maybe you start gazing left. And as you breathe, slowly turn your gaze towards the right. Reach into right fingertips. Open your right chest. Allow yourself to soften into earth. Long line, outer right knee into right fingertips. Expand, reach, soften. Inhaling here, exhale, knees back to center. We'll hug our knees one more time. Squeeze them in. Keep your chest lifted. This time the feet come onto mat. And now take a moment to just ground your lower back into mat. Lengthen your lower back. And then keeping the lower back on the mat, grounding down, reach your arms up and over. Stretch your palms, stretch yourself out. Make your spine as long as it can be from tailbone into neck. Take an inhale here and then slowly roll yourself up. Your hands might rest on your thighs or they might move past your thighs. Only go as far as you can go for now without contracting too much. And roll yourself back down. Deepen your navel and lower back into mat. And then reach your arms up and over again, stretching out without the shoulder blades squeezing into ears. Inhale here and then slowly coming up and continue to breathe as you roll up. And maybe halfway up now onto tailbone. And then take it back down, point your tailbone away, consciously squeezing through core. Consciously widen lower back into mat and reach your arms up and over. Inhale again and exhale, folding, rolling up. Beautiful. Maybe all the way. And we'll do one more. Rolling down, rounding your spine, letting your spine expand and lengthen. Arms up and over, lower back, your entire spine still on the mat. And rolling back up. And as we come up, we lift one foot and we lift the other foot. We bring our big toes and knees together and we open our palms up. If you need, grab your thighs or hug them in or hold them tight, really what works for you. And if you want, you lift your toes up. Keep lifting your heart. Keep sliding shoulder blades to hips. And just notice and acknowledge what is alive in you this moment. And then cross your legs, bring your feet onto mat, bring your hands onto kneecaps, hinge forwards and back on sit bones. So the movement is generated by the pelvis, but then your spine starts following. Create a bit of heat into your center. So every time you round, lift your navel up and in. And then next time you come onto the front sit bones, you fold yourself forwards. You let your hands rest wherever they need to rest. You breathe, lengthen your spine as you inhale, and as you exhale, you pour, you fold forwards. Let's lift halfway up. Walk our hands over to the right, maybe stacking left hand onto right. Drop your left armpit, shoulder towards the mat. Ground your left sit bone, and maybe you can hook your knee, your elbow, no, your chin. Your chin over your knee. Keep your opposite sit bone grounded. Broaden your shoulder blades wide. Lifting halfway, walk through center with as much space as you can take. Right hand onto left. Doing that same thing on the opposite side. Opening up wide. Let your right shoulder blade slide down to earth. Coming back to center. Lengthen yourself up to sit. And lift your feet again. Knees together, big toes together. Shoulders slide down, arms rise high or hands on thighs. Maybe the toes point up to ceiling. Lift the heart a little higher. Go wherever it works for you. And be here until legs maybe start shaking. Take another deep inhale, another deep exhale. Cross your legs the unfamiliar way. Drop your knees outwards. Hinge forwards and back on your sit bones. Strong center, and feel your shoulder blades slide up and down along your spine. And then folding it forwards. Soften forwards. Drop into the space between your knees. We lift our gaze forwards, inhale up, feet come to hips, and we roll over feet onto hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's just circle around our wrists, shift our weight forwards and back. Have a look at your hands, spreading fingers wide, shifting from pinky finger side to thumb. And then centering yourself out. As you inhale, you arch, lifting sit bones, lift your collarbones. Soften your neck, elbows gently tucking into hips, collarbones wide, and on your next exhalation you round yourself out. Have a look at feet, the shins are parallel, knees hip wide, squeeze your navel up. On your next inhale, you lift into heart, you arch, you lengthen, and exhale to round it out. Expand into shoulder blades. Inhale to arch, and exhale to round. On our next inhalation, we find neutral spine. We rise our right arm up. Keep your navel lifted high. And notice how challenging this can be. Bend your right elbow, bring your hand to right collarbone, and then use your hand to open chest. Good. Open the chest and then expand the arm up. Relax your feet, relax your legs, strong in your core. And exhale the hand down. Other hand, left arm lifts up. Reaching up high. Maybe left hand reminds the left chest and front shoulder to open. Notice where you're shifting in your hips. Long torso, long spine. Reach a little higher and exhale, left hand down. Right hand rises up. And this time we'll scoop our hand under, behind our left wrist, over to the left. Roll your right shoulder down, come onto the side of your head. And gently press your left hand into mat to twist a little deeper. Feel your shoulder blades slide apart. And then how about we arch and round our lower back. So you're tilting your pelvis forwards and back. Or maybe rolling your head side to side. So step a little deeper, a little beyond your familiar range of movement. And then left hand into mat. Right arm rises up. Check in if there's more space now. Follow your hand with your gaze, lean your head back, and right hand comes down, left arm rises, opening up. Maybe you can follow hand with gaze, open chest wide, slide your shoulder blades to hips, and then shift the hand under, over towards the right. Come onto outer left shoulder and twist a little deeper. Maybe arch and round lower back, maybe tilting hips left and right. See what's true for you. Then you push your right hand back into mat and lift your left arm up and away, following hand with your gaze. Left hand comes down onto mat. Check your hands there, shoulder wide. We tuck our toes under and lift our knees. Lift our knees, lift our hips into down dog. So walking on the spot, lift one heel at a time. And shake your head no and nod your head yes. Very gentle walk. See what it feels like to drop your heels into mat. Feel your hands stride forwards, look forwards. Open chest, open heart. And let's lift our heels high. Bring our heels forward. So press your heels forward. Bend your knees. Rest your lower ribs on your thighs and look at hands. Look at fingertips. Poke your sit bones up. Can we do that with our right leg lifted? Poking right toes up to ceiling. Breathe. Right leg down, left leg. Poking toes up and lifting it up to ceiling. See if there's a difference there. Left leg down and the heels drop down to mat. Our hands walk into feet. Our hands slide up our feet, up our shins, onto thighs. Tuck your elbows into hips. Lift your heart forwards and up. Roll your shoulders down. Feel your shoulder blades connect with pelvis. Strong navel. Inhale here and exhale to gently fold. Let your hands slide down the back legs towards the heels or wherever they land. Let your head soften. Lengthen through the back legs. Your knees bend as deeply as they need to. Then hands slide back up the shins, the knees onto thighs. Gently pressing thighs back and lifting heart forwards. Another inhale here and release yourself down. Knees bent if they need to. Shift your weight from heels to front feet. Maybe shift your weight left foot, right foot, left foot, heels light. Then bend your knees, let your arms hang and stack yourself up to stand. Really grounding through the feet to rise through your spine. As you come up, you roll your shoulders up and down, side to side a few times. Rolling shoulders forwards and back. Check your feet, spread your toes out wide. You're at the end of your mat if you're not there already. And on our next inhale, we reach our arms through the sides and up. Now we poke our sit bones back as if we're searching for that chair behind. Lift your gaze, lift your hands. Slide your shoulder blades down. Check your knees there, as wide as your hips, as wide as your feet. Looking up again. And then the hands sway past your hips. Interlock behind. Roll your shoulders back. Poke your sternum forwards. Keep your elbows slightly bent. And then see if you can fold it a little deeper. Maybe the arms come up and over. Soften into shoulders. Lifting through the back legs. Challenge yourself to move slightly out of your comfort zone. Maybe a little further than you thought you could go. And we'll roll ourselves back up. Hands come to tailbone. Hands release. They sway past the feet. And we lift up into Utkatasana. We inhale here. We exhale our hands down onto mat. And just folding forwards. Let your spine soften over your extended legs. They might be bent deeply. Really make it yours. Then we look forwards and start walking our hands to feet. Our hands to the front of the mat, Hands under shoulders, slightly in front of shoulders. Elbows pointing to back corners of the mat. Your heart wide and open. And just be here for a moment. See what you can do to lift your navel higher. See what you could do to point your tailbone down to earth. See what you could do to open your heart a little wider. Just feeling into it, feeling length. If your knees need to support you, they're there to support you. Feel your core firing. And then inhale, exhale, take that into your down dog. Reaching your hips up high, lifting your right leg up high. Explore your range of movement. And then send your right foot down to mat, swapping sides. Deeply curious, lift your left leg up. Explore your range of movement.
and bring your left leg down. Again, lifting right leg up. And then lifting onto left toes, bring both knees to chest. We step our right foot to land between our hands. Our left knee comes down onto mat. Make it a nice long distance between front heel and back knee. Gently sway your hips left and right, right and left. And then walk your foot to outside edge of mat. Bring your hand to inner foot. And again, sway a bit. Open into left hip flexors. Rolling onto outside edge of left kneecap, inside edge. And then coming onto elbows. If that suits you. Otherwise, you stay on hands. If you come onto elbows and you notice you're really, really rounding your spine, maybe then come onto hands rather and arch your spine. Slide your shoulder blades down, widen your collarbones. Keep your left hand, let's all come back onto hands. Now keep your left hand where it is and rise your right arm up. Now see if you can straighten out your right leg, pointing toes up to ceiling. So your hips shift back, and then you open your right arm and chest a little higher. And then front knee bends again, knee above heel, hand onto knee, pinky toe side on the outside edge of your mat, your left toes tuck under, you lift your left knee. Let's see if we can rise the arm up again. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you reach your hands forwards, forwards. You land your hand on your inner foot, you land your right shoulder on inner right knee, you roll your left heel down so the pinky toe side is parallel to the short side of your mat, and let's move it forwards and back a bit. Keep your hips low, keep your knees striving apart, ground the weight into the pinky toe side of your feet. Make space where it seems like it's impossible to make space. Wherever it gets really tight and tense, stay there. And then we meet with our right knee above our heel, rolling onto left toes. Your hands already are shoulder wide apart, and press them into mat. Lift your right heel up high, and step your right foot down. Well done. Check in here, maybe bend one knee at a time. Be fully in your down dog and just be here for a moment, your own down dog, your own expression of what you might need this moment. Breathing deeply, reconnecting to curiosity, and then left leg rises up. We come onto right toes, bend both knees into chest, look to see the space between our hands and land our left foot there. From here the right knee comes down, point your right toes back, your fingertips light, making domes alongside the heel, and gently sway your hips. Move into those aspects of your movement that are challenging, and then add curiosity and loving kindness. Walk your foot to the outside edge of mat. Pinky toe side of your left foot on the outside edge of your mat. Left foot, left hand comes to inner foot. And again we sway. Roll from inner right knee to outer right knee. Sway your hips left and right. Allow your shoulders to sway. If you didn't come onto elbows and you'd like to try it on this side, you're welcome to. Soften. With curiosity, observe where am I resisting? Where might my toes be holding on, or might I be grinding teeth? Might I be resisting those parts that I'm actually wanting to open? What could I do to go deeper? And let's come back onto hands. Left hand right on the inner left foot, right toes tuck under, right knee lifts, right heel rolls down. And then gently shifting forward. Staying as low as you can. So there's no wrong or right here, no good or bad. range of movements. Bending back knee, straighten front leg, bending back leg, bending front leg, really move and flow. Keep sliding your shoulder blades down towards your hips. And let's meet with our knee above our heel, rolling back onto right toes. We bring our right knee onto mat, point our right toes back. So we meet here again. And then from here, right hand stays under right shoulder, left arm lifts up towards the sky. Slide your shoulders down, open your chest, spread your fingers, and then see if you can straighten your left leg, maybe flexing left foot. See if you can still open heart and reach a little further, looking up at your left hand. We bend left knee again, knee above heel. Left hand onto left knee, right toes tuck under, lift your right knee. Maybe staying here. Maybe you can lift it up again. Open wide. Strive your thighs into opposite directions. Reach. And your left hand comes forwards, down to inner left foot. Hands shoulder wide. Have them take weight. Left foot reaches up. Three-legged down dog. And your leg steps down. Maybe you stay in your down dog. If you like, come into plank and move through your vinyasa. So from plank, either chaturanga or hands and knees or cat and cow. Moving back into down dog. Reaching it back. And you're welcome to do another one of those. And alternatively, bring your knees as wide as the mat. Point your toes back. Settle your sit bones to heels. And then fold into the space between your knees. Deeply nourishing. Forehead onto mat or maybe your mouth. Slide your shoulder blades down. Relax into the space between your knees. And if you feel like finding stillness there, then that's great. If you feel like moving and circling and creating more space into pelvis and hip joints, that's beautiful too. Let your heart drop down towards mat. So anything hard we have been building around our heart, any tension, anything hard, any armor we hold, see if you can just soften it out through your breath, through being curious towards this moment. And we lift our gaze, looking forward. Come onto hands and knees, bring your knees hip wide, your shins parallel, your toes pointing straight back. Lift your sit bones. So as if you're coming into, doing your cat and cow, and stay with the sit bones lifted. You reach your hands forward. If the shoulders are a bit tense, you widen your hands outwards. If you're fine, you bring your hands straight forward. Your forehead onto mat. Let your armpits drop to mat. Let your spine become this long, long line. Let your sternum melt to mat. Relax your toes. And truly notice, where am I resisting? Let all those muscles around your shoulder blades soften. Very unfamiliar pose for most of us, and there's a lot of resistance. We're feeling very vulnerable, and when we feel vulnerable, our tendency is to contract. Be in it, surrender into it, know you're safe where you are. To move out of the pose, we slide our sit bones onto heels and bring our hands around so our palms are facing up alongside our feet. Let our spine lengthen and our shoulder blades widen. In our own time, we round ourselves to sit up onto heels. We'll come forwards into plank. If you'd like to flow through a vinyasa, you may. Otherwise, shift it straight into down dog. And from
down dog. In your own time, walk your hands to feet. Inhale to rise halfway. And exhale to flow forwards, deep forward fold. Bend your knees, ground your feet to rise up. Tailbone down, round yourself, stack yourself up to stand.
From pelvis into crown, release your hands down. Lift your shoulders a couple of times, up and down, up and down. Relax them down and stand your tallest you. With our next inhale, we'll reach our arms through the sides and up. And then we'll sit back again, Utkatasana. So your sit bones poke back first, and then the knees start bending. Your toes spread wide, gazing forwards, gazing up. Bring your hands past your hips, interlock your hands the unfamiliar way. Elbows still slightly bent, heart opens up. If you stay here, you can stay, otherwise you fold. And see if you can reach your arms up and over. Lifting through your sit bones, soften through your shoulders. Notice your toes, are they holding on to the mat? And then release, reaching arms up. Inhale here. Exhale, folding forwards. Lifting gaze, look forwards, find your plank. From plank through your chaturanga, your vinyasa, or straight into down dog. Down dog lifts both heels, bends both knees. You look to the space between your hands. Your right leg rises as high as you can. Good. Look forward, see the space between your hands, and step your foot to land. Ground your foot, trust your foot, knee above heel, we rise into Lunge Warrior. Just lifting up. Lift your back heel high, drop your back heel low. Lift your back heel high, bring your hands through the sides onto hips. Roll your right hip back, shift your left hip forward. Align your hips and chest with the front of your mat, and then drop your back heel low again. Continue to lift your back knee up and away. Point your tailbone down. Lift through your navel, lift through your heart. And inhale your arms to the sides and up. Soften shoulders. Another big inhale here, and then slowly open into Warrior 2. Rolling your back heel down. Outside edge of your left foot parallel to the mat. Front knee, have a look. It's right above the heel. And then align yourself towards the mat. Sway a bit. Sway a bit. So notice how strong your back leg is and your front knee forward. Swaying a bit. Leaning back, reaching back. Hand drops, arm lifts. Maybe looking up at right hand. Check into pelvis. It's super upright. So feeling the line from tailbone into neck. It's so long. Reaching into that. Coming back to center. Sway your shoulders, let your shoulder blades drop. Pelvis upright, we reach forward. The elbow lands wherever it needs to land, and the arm comes up and over. And how about we drop our hand downwards and circle it up. Feel your shoulder blades circling on your back body. So rounding as you come forwards, arching as you come up. And then changing direction. Really explore that movement. What does it feel like in the shoulder blade, in the chest, in the heart? And then that next time you come up, you lengthen yourself up into Warrior 2, leaning back again, rising front hand. And let's straighten our front leg. Point your tailbone down and reach a little deeper. And we find our Warrior 2. We sway our left hand past our hip, roll onto left toes. Check your hips, so arms through the sides, onto hips, grab your pelvis, lift the front, tuck the back, strive deep into Lunge Warrior. Lift your back knee up high, keep tilting your pelvis backwards, rising arms up, and exhaling, hands down onto mat. Spreading fingers wide, right leg up to sky. Right leg lands on mat, left leg up to sky. Lifting heel,
both knees into chest, round yourself, point your tailbone down, look forward, see the space between your hands, and land your left foot there. Knee above heel, heel right underneath knee, and lengthen up into Lunge Warrior. Lifting up. Lifting up. Lift your back heel high. Bring your arms through the sides onto hips. Really grab your hips. Roll your right hip forward. Roll your left hip back. And then deepen your back heel down. Keep lifting your back knee high. And use your hands to really tilt your pelvis back. Feeling the hip flexors stretch and open. Striving into front knee. Elbows out to the sides. Very powerful pose. And then lifting arms up above the head. Imagine you're grabbing a crown and you're crowning yourself. So you're rising tall from tailbone into crown and deepening into legs. And with that spaciousness, you open into Warrior 2. And just explore gently. Shifting hips, making space. If you want your hands on your hips, you can circle them. And then arms out to the sides. Deep sense of curiosity. Reach into backhand. Slide it down, lift your front hand, open chest. Straighten, continue to straighten your back leg. Coming through center, hinging forward. Elbow lands to knee. And the arm comes up or forward. Open your heart, open your chest. Coming back to center. Swaying and backhand reaches back. One more time, lifting up. Swaying forward. Left elbow lands. And then the right hand comes around and up. And let's circle. Coming around and up. Consciously feel your shoulder blade move on your back ribs. Really curious as to how the body works and how everything is connected. Circle the other way. And then we lift up back into Warrior 2. As we reach back, our right hand drops, our left hand rises, and we straighten our left leg. Lift your pelvis up high, open your thighs apart and strive up. Bending knee, Warrior 2. Right hand comes past the hip, Lunge Warrior. Going deep into it, challenge yourself, reach, and then bringing hands onto mat. Foot reaches back, 3-legged downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale, foot down, knees down. Sit bones onto heels, forehead onto mat. Hands may stay forwards, or if they want to slide back, they can slide back. Make yourself small and tiny. Surrender and soften into your mat. Roll yourself up to sit. Lift yourself up onto knees. Then step your left foot forwards. Roll your right hip forwards, left hip back. Hands slide onto left knee and sink into hips. Open into left hip flexor. Lift your heart and sink a little deeper. Keep your left hand on the your right hand on the left knee. And your left hand opens back and away. So you're twisting towards the left, sinking deeper into hips. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Left hand comes past the hip, reaches up. Right hand joins, and maybe we sink a little deeper. Your own perfect range of movement. Adjust where you need. Bring your hands down onto mat. And we'll straighten out our front leg. Folding over it. Letting your spine round. If you like, on your next inhale, you lift and lengthen a little more. And as you exhale, you fold over the leg again. Deeply nurturing, nourishing. Coming forwards again, knee above heel, lift yourself up, and then bring your knee back above, back underneath you. And then we'll step the right foot forwards. Hands onto knee, shift your knee slightly forwards, and then soften and sink into your hip. Sway your hips left and right. Now keep your left hand on your right knee, and the right hand comes past the hip, opening towards the back. Slide your shoulder blades down, open your heart, sink a little deeper, open a little further. Explore your range of movement. The right hand comes past the hip, rises up, left hand rises up, and let's see if we can sink a little deeper. We bring our hands down onto earth, and we'll extend our front leg, folding over it. Maybe you inhale to lengthen through spine as you exhale, deeply nurturing, folding over your leg again. Knee above heel, hands onto knee, lift yourself up, and then just bring your knee under, sit on your heels. Take a moment to reset, reconnect with the length that's through your spine, and then lift onto knees. So if you want to shift your knees slightly apart, hip wide, check your feet or toes on the mat, shift your hips forward and let your heart shine. Slide your shoulder blades down, shift your hips, squeezing the glutes, maybe hands onto thighs, and this might absolutely be enough for you. Journey in your own pace, journey how it suits you today. This moment, with each breath filled with curiosity, each breath explore new again and again. Another big inhale. As you exhale, you slowly come back up. You find yourself on hands and knees to either move through cat and cow or some circling movements through the shoulders and the hips. Let your body guide you. We'll tuck our toes as we center ourselves. We lift our knees and reach our hips into down dog. From down dog, hands walk to feet. Round yourself up to stand. Take time. And roll your shoulders back, open your heart wide. Slide your shoulder blades down, slide your hands down. Feel this contrast of deep lift through your center, through your inner arches and your pelvic floor into crown, and then the opposite direction, the opposite movement through your periphery. We lift our right knee up. We stand tall. We bring our right arm up and then guide it past the inner right knee to foot and place the foot to inner thigh. If you can, place it all the way up into groin. If it needs to be a little lower or on the shin, see what's true for you. Left hand on left hip. See if you can open the right knee a little further. So your hips are still parallel to the front of your mat. Your chest is hands onto hips, fingers forward, thumbs back. Strong, powerful pose. Make sure your pelvis is upright. And then you rise and grow into the crown of your head. So there's a strong sense of lift. Tailbone reaches down, crown reaches high. So you are journeying inwards. You're contracting through your center. See if you can reach your arms up high. And continue to make your standing leg really strong, really long. Let's bring our hands together. Imagine you're grabbing a string that comes out of the crown of your head. And you make yourself even taller without the shoulders coming up. Making yourself taller from tailbone into crown through the standing leg. Beautiful. Slowly let your hands come down to heart. And if you like, lift the knee for a moment out to the side. And if you can,
Straighten out your leg for a moment, out to the side. Squeeze, bend and bring your knee forward. And shift, release, circle the hips maybe. Maybe you just stand still. See what's true for you. And then finding your feet again, hip wide apart, the left knee rises. And give your right leg a moment to adjust to be the standing leg. Left hand up, right hand low. Left hand past the inner left knee to foot. Grabbing the foot, placing it on inner thigh. And then again, we're building it consciously. We open from the hip to the thigh. We bring our hands onto pelvis. Grab your pelvis. See if you can lift yourself up. So you're lifting yourself out of your standing leg. Soften your shoulder blades and shoulders down. Your ribs down. Rise tall into crown. You can stay here or maybe the arms rise up. Grab your crown or imaginary rings hanging from the ceiling. Make yourself even taller. Or hands come together as you pull yourself up. Pulling up through your center line. Pulling up through your fingertips. Beautiful. Hands come down to heart. Release the foot, lift the knee. Stay tall. That's the challenge here. Stay tall. Maybe leg out to the side. Stay tall. 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 Bend. Bring it forward. Step it down. Our hands release onto hips. And our feet step apart. Long, long, long stance. Wide apart. Sway your hips side to side. So the outside edges of your feet are parallel, swaying hips side to side. Then tilt your pelvis forwards, lift your sit bones high. Keep broadening your elbows out to the side. Hinging forwards, beautiful. Elbows out to the side, neck in line with spine. Another inhale here as you exhale, you fold into your forward fold, wherever that is. Go deep. Feel free to find stillness or movement. No wrong or right. Notice if there's a difference between the legs. Maybe you feel like moving over to one leg. Moving over to the other leg. Give yourself permission to explore and feel. Maybe bending one leg at a time. And then both legs extend again. Your hands come forward in front of your face, so under your forehead onto mat. And now lift your sit bones high and drop your chest. Walk your hands even further forward. So your whole spine is this big, deep arch. Your sit bones lift up high. Wiggle your toes. Create length through your legs. Let your head hang. Look down at mat. Walk your hands in, so your fingertips are under your face. Right hand stays, left arm lifts. Twist. Looking up, leaning into yourself. Left hand drops. Right hand lifts. Fingertips light. Hold yourself from your center. Right hand comes down. Inhale again. Exhale, fold fully. Fold deeply. Slowly bring your hands onto pelvis. Grab your pelvis. Inhale to prepare with your exhalation coming up. If you're on your head, you're welcome to stay. As we come up, we heel toe our feet together. Or we heel toe them a little wider than hip wide. Toes pointing outwards. And we come into squats. So you might need to adjust your feet a little. You might need to bring them closer. See if you can open your knees with your elbows. It helps to bring the hands together. And then move around, sway around. Create a sense of lift through your inner ankles. And if now you are able to step your feet a little further, you're welcome to. Notice what it feels like to round your spine and to arch your spine. Notice the difference. Opening up.
If you feel like coming onto your hands for a moment, you're welcome to bring your hands forwards, flat on mat. Forearms parallel, lifting, placing knees onto elbows or into armpits. Finding your weight in your hands. Finding lightness there. Find your way back into squat. From here we bring our hands back and come to seated. Bring the soles of your feet together. So with your fingertips behind you, slide your, instead of moving your feet to hips, we slide our hips to feet. So that we are already on the front sit bones. If you need your hands to stay here, they can stay. If they may come forwards, they may. Butterfly movements in the hips. Release the hips. Lengthen through your crown. Now find stillness. And see whatever you can do within your hips to ground your outer knees onto mat. So checking into hips. Where am I holding on? What might need to soften? What might need to contract? For me to rest my outer knees onto mat. And just feel. No wrong, no right. We're all different, unique and beautiful. Keep lifting your heart, keep opening your chest. Good. Release your feet and slide them forward. So there's a long diamond shape between your legs. And then inhale here, let your knees soften outwards, soften, and then just release forward. So no forcing, no straining, just let your pelvis tilt forwards and then let your spine flow forward. Notice you might now be holding your knees up. If they need support, you can hold under your knees. If you can let them drop down to earth, you can do that. Be curious to the sensations that come up. And then roll yourself up to sit. You might need to adjust a bit, but if you have mat behind you already, then in one go, just lower yourself down onto mat. Make sure your lower back is long, slide your feet up, keep your knees open. Tailbone away, lower back, center of your spine wide, knees open wide, hands out to the sides, tucking shoulder blades under. Close your eyes. If there's anything else your body would love right now, anything different, you're welcome to follow it. Follow your body. If you're happy to stay here with your knees bent and spread out wide, you can stay. And when you feel like you'd rather stretch out your legs, then all you do is lengthen them out, toes flopping outwards. Lots of space in the spine. If you need to use your hands to adjust your pelvis, you can do that. And then soften, drop into stillness. Soften into mat. Soften your lips. Your cheeks, your eyelids, your eyebrows. Soften into collarbones. Remember that light between your eyebrows. Turn your inner gaze up into your third eye center. And let that light shine. Imagine there's sunlight between your eyebrows. And as we close the circle, we come back to where we started. Again, we make sure our entire system knows that it's safe and supported. Give your body permission to rest into mat fully. And be intensely curious towards
tension you might still be holding. So meandering your awareness through body, through collarbones, shoulders, arms, chest, down into hips, meandering down through your legs into heels, and allow everything to become heavy. If you can hear the rain, or if you have your own rain where you're at, maybe you can feel that washing through you. Letting that rain rinse you, cleanse you. Remaining curious to whatever thought arises. Curious towards your breath, reminding ourselves that our breath reminds us that the outside world and the inside world is not separate. Listen to the sound of the rain as you listen to your thoughts and your sensations. Or maybe the other way around. Listen to your thoughts as if you were listening to rain, unattached, not getting involved in any story. But as we know that rain is just rain, we know that thought is just thought, and emotions are just emotions. They wash through us like weather systems. Remembering that gives you the space to allow them to come and go, to wash through you and flow through you. Set an intention for the rest of the day to come. And seal that intention in by focusing onto the space between your eyebrows. See that bright golden light. Let it bring a smile into your eyes, a smile on your lips. As you invite your breath to deepen, taking deep and full inhalations, deep and full exhalations. This breath gently starts to move you. You move around in whatever intuitive way. When you feel ready, you come back up to seated in your own perfect way. Find yourself high and tall on sit bones. Your legs crossed or folded underneath you. Feel your spine stack. Your shoulders soften. Feel the crown rise. We bring our hands together. Rest our thumbs onto the forehead. Remember that light there. Softening. As we drop our thumbs to heart, we remember to bring heart and mind together. Remembering that they need one another. As we inhale, we gaze up, we lift, and as we exhale, we bow, looking into heart, and then thanking ourselves and thanking one another. Slowly lift and lengthen, open your eyes, namaste. Thank you for joining. Thank you for showing up for yourself today on your mat. Thank you for making space for yourself and preparing yourself to shine your light into the world more powerfully than ever. It was a pleasure guiding you. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of the day.